Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to our Return to Thornton Farm series. This is episode number 8, and thank you for joining for another episode. We are busy in our first game day of July. We are playing 2 game days per month, as you already know. And I've got a lot of stuff going on already. We got up before the crack of dawn this morning. All hands on deck, if you will. Got Smithy, got Abner. I ran the combine and we cut the headlands on this field. Smithy carted for me while Abner took care of the animals, and we then took a early lunch, I suppose, after we gathered up the straw. We've got rain coming later this afternoon, and the predictions are pretty solid that we're going to get some rain. And so we decided that we would, if we had some malfunctions or whatever with equipment, that we would be better off if we did this kind of in a two-step process where we cut the headlands first, picked up those bells. We managed to get about 26 bells off of the headlands, so we are going to be good for straw bells, as we had talked about before. Now, today we are, like I said, we're back to harvesting. We also need to sell some soybeans today because they are at the highest price that they're going to be for the entire year, and we need to get those out of our silos. Let's see, we baled the straw. Now, in the previous video, you might remember from episode number 7, we spread lime and slurry on the grass field, and then off camera, I spread slurry on field number 11. We sold all that milk that we had. That equaled about $70,000, and then also had Abner go ahead and sow oilseed radish into field number 11, and that's just in keeping with our green initiatives that we've set here on Thornton Farm way back when. So we're going to try to keep up with that and make sure that we continue with that. Now we've got some good news. I teased you with some good Smithy news in episode number 7, and I'm about to tell you what that is. It's two-part, really. The Smithy news is 2 parts, and part number 1 is, well, today Smithy. Yes, Smithy is running the combine now. Abner is in the cab with him because I don't trust Smithy all by himself, and we've basically asked him to go ahead and stop the combine to unload so that it's a little bit easier for him. Hopefully, he will do that. I've got that setting set, and I ran just a little bit forward, but that's my bad. So we've got him, we're teaching him to run the combine because Smithy, over the last several weeks, Smithy has kind of sensed the driving the tractor and the tipper onto the hedge event that he did back in like episode 5 or 6 or whatever that was. Smithy has showed a little bit more promise as far as being a better farmhand. And he had a little bit of a come to Jesus talk with Mr. Thornton a couple of weeks ago, and Mr. Thornton kind of said, Smithy, Smithy predates me on Thornton Farm. Smithy worked for Mr. Thornton even before I came along many years ago, and so Mr. Thornton kind of set him down and said, Smithy, you need to shape up, or we're going to have to consider shipping you out because we just can't have these kind of problems. And you need to be more punctual coming into work. You need to be more enthusiastic about work. If this is not something that you want to do in your life, then you need to go and find your calling, whatever that might be. That's something that you need to do. And so evidently all this kind of settled in, and I have a feeling I know why Smithy has sort of buckled down, if you will, and has been a little bit better of a farmhand, because he came in and told us the other day. We were having lunch after we finished up our chores. We all went up to the pub, and Abner, Smithy, and myself, we all went up to the pub for lunch, and Smithy broke the news to us that Smithy is getting married. Yes, there will be a Mrs. Smithy at some point in time. Now, we've never met Smithy's girlfriend. She's never come around the pub. To my knowledge, she has not come to the farm be, unless she came here before I came back from Calmsden. Before Mr. Thornton called me back from Calmsden, she might have come up here before. I don't know. There's no one else around other than Smithy that would know that, and so. But we've never met her, so we don't know. We don't know what she's like. Now, I don't know why this wheat is growing the way that it is. I think it's a defect in this field. There's also some over there as well, and don't know if it's coming from another field, if something is messed up in the map, but I think that's what it is. Perhaps our buddy Rubber Burner Gaming knows why this happens. I don't think it has anything to do with how we planted the field. I think it's a like I said, I think it's a defect in the field. But anyway, back to the role play. So yes, there will be a Mrs. Smithy at some point in time. Now, Mr. Thornton is just over the moon about this because, like I said to you all many weeks ago, and even as I talked about probably in my Farm Sim 17 series about Thornton Farm, Smithy was around back then. We all love Smithy. I mean, Smithy is one of those guys that you just can't help but love the guy. He's funny. He makes us all laugh. Even if we're having the worst of days, Smithy can do something. He can crack a joke, and we're all just in stitches laughing. And next thing you know, we have forgotten whatever it is that has happened that has caused us our gloom for the day. That's gone away, and yeah, he's just that kind of guy. I think we all know. I think we all have a Smithy in our lives. We all have that one friend that that we have that just does that. Now I'm emptying Smithy a little bit more frequently than I would normally do. This is all part of sort of the training of getting him used to running the combine, stopping the combine, opening the pipe out, and unloading. And so hopefully this measure, Abner is doing a great job with the training, and hopefully Smithy will be able to be trusted and be able to run the combine by himself unsupervised. Boy, that's scary. That's a scary thought. I'm surprised I'm even saying that. And of course, I don't expect that all of Smithy's antics and such will go away just because he's had that come to Jesus talk with Mr. Thornton. I still suspect that there will be things that Smithy will do over time. Hopefully, not as bad as turn the tractor over on the hedgerow, but we will see. Time will tell. But anyway, we all do love Smithy, and as I was saying, I think we all have a Smithy in our lives that we just sort of compensate for. And like I said, we love them dearly, and they just make our lives that little much better. And even though sometimes catastrophic, some of the things that they do, we just overlook that. So I think this is our third or fourth dump of wheat into our silo. So we're also getting a really good yield off of this field as well. So we've done a good job with, of course, I should say, Smithy and the gang that was working here before I got called back in to town was did a good job with things such as uh, getting the fertilizer right and the weed control and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we can continue to achieve those great things as we continue to farm this wonderful map here for some time to go. All right. Well, speaking of this wonderful map and things that are kind of yet to come from the magical world, the magical mind of Oxygen David, I have mentioned a couple of times about Court Farm. Court Farm is going to be The next map that Oxygen David will release for Farm Sim 22, it is at the present time, the status of the map. This was a few days ago when I saw the message. When I saw the message from Oxygen David on Facebook, the present status, is that he is almost done. He is almost done with the map. Once he is finished, it will go to his testers, the folks that he trusts, that he basically has to test. And I would expect pretty soon after that, we will see it appearing with the folks that he trusts to do some previews of it. There will be a cinematic video made of Court Farm, and that will be done. And then it will, pending there's no major issues with his own testing, then it will go to Giants for testing and uh, ultimately getting placed on the Mod Hub for both PC as well as console. What the timeline for all this is, you know, it's anyone's best guess. I don't know. I've not been paying that much of attention in recent weeks and months to just how backlogged Giants is on their testing. I know back, a year ago when I was a little more involved in Farm Sim and paying attention to these kind of things, and involved in Discord conversations and such about people kind of complaining about the length of time that it was taking for Giants to get mods approved and get uploaded and all that kind of stuff. It was several weeks of backlog from the time that someone submitted a map until the time that it was basically, ready to go, blessed, uploaded, all set up, and all that sort of thing. But so I don't know if we're still in that sort of situation. It would be easy to tell because I'm pretty sure that Giants is still posting on their forums about the testing schedule, and it shows the things that are currently in testing, and I think it shows the number of mods that are basically that are yet to be tested. Let's try to get this lined up here, and we are. All right, so we are going to load up soybeans, and we're going to go over to sort of the complex over by the BGA. You kind of got to go around the world to kind of get there, but we'll end up there here eventually. But that's sort of the timeline with Court Farm. That's sort of the timeline with Court Farm. But what I have seen, and I said this a few episodes ago, and I don't change. I haven't changed my mind because it's not worth changing, because I really do believe that it is true, is that if we thought Calmsden was the fantastic sort of end all be all map for Farm Sim 22, I mean, Calmsden came out within just a few months of the release of Farm Sim 22, and we were all so excited about it. And it is a wonderful map in so many ways. In my mind, I've sort of self-described it as being a blend of the perfect world. It's a small, it's a regular size map. It's a British farming map. You can do animals, you can do arable, you can do whatever you want to do. I think it ticks all the boxes there. It has small fields, and it has some pretty large fields. I mean, there are some fields on Calmsden that are somewhat surprising, just the size of them, and you kind of start that way with the first field that you get, that field behind what is sort of deemed as the main farm area. That's a decent sized field, especially if you use the equipment that comes with the map when you start it up. Now, of course, we've changed out equipment and everything to make that go a little bit quicker, but Calmsden has been a beautiful map. But wait, I mean, there have been so many other wonderful maps that have come out, and I'm sure, even though I haven't really been shopping for in the British farming map genre, There have been some beautiful North American maps. I've I have been playing on Edgewater, Saskatchewan, off camera, and that is just that's a beautiful map. A bit flat, with some undulations and such in the fields, that make it quite unique. But it's a really cool map. And let's see, did I come the right way? I think I really meant to go further through town before I made this turn here, because that's a little tight. But oh well, we're gonna make it just fine. But the other really cool things about Court Farms that I think is going to just blow everybody's socks off, and if you have not been following Oxygen David's Facebook group in Facebook, then you don't know anything about these. And you may think that, well, Court Farm is going to be very similar to Calmsden, and I may play it. I'm not really all that looking forward to it. But here's a few things that Oxygen David has planned for Court Farm, and I believe it's all working based on based on what he has put into the map in his own testing. Now, whether or not this is going to meet up and match up with Giants and all that stuff, and if it's going to work on console and all of that. But let's see, the traffic on the map will have a mixture of the standard cars and trucks and stuff that we see today with pretty much any map that's out there, even including like Calmsden and Thornton and whatever. But the other really cool thing is that he is going to have a mix of traffic with, like I said, cars and trucks, but even we might see tractors and the odd combine or something running down the road, which would be kind of unique and certainly would be certainly fitting. 78,392 it looks like, with a 5,373 environment score. That is fantastic. Cannot complain about that. Making some money. Which would be quite unique. Of course, it might look a bit odd seeing a combine going down the road in the wintertime, or in the very early springtime. But who knows? Maybe the farmer is moving the combine to another farm or to the shop for maintenance or something like that. The other really cool thing about the map is going to be the fact that the hedgerows are going to be affected by seasonal change. I kind of think today most maps, the trees will change with the season, so we'll get some autumn colors. The winters, the leaves will drop off, things like that. We're going to see some of the seasonal changes with the hedgerows and such on Court Farm, and that's going to be I think that's going to be really cool. That's just going to give a little bit more immersion and variety to the map, that when things are looking the way they are in the fall with the trees, we would expect the hedgerows to kind of follow suit and be similar to that. And then, really and truthfully, this one is kind of, I think, the thing that's going to blow everything out of the water. And again, I don't know if any other map authors have done this with other maps, because obviously it is possible if Oxygen David has done it, or if he is the first one. But ladies and gentlemen, something that I believe that we have all wanted to see, we've all wanted this in the game by default for many, many, many versions of this game, is to be able to see the AI working their fields. I don't know how this is going to work, as far if there's just going to be a field that is going to be not available to be purchased, but he has shown some pictures of equipment in a field, working the field, moving around in the field. Again, I don't know how he's done it. We'll just all have to see what it all means when the map comes out and we can get it downloaded onto our hard drives and get it into the game save and get it fired up and everything and take a look at it and see. But that is cool. I mean, and to be able to see, I mean, that's something that we've all wanted to do. We can see, we've got all these beautiful fields that we don't own. Like we don't own this cornfield here yet, but as I've said before, I think Mr. Thornton's going to want to purchase that this year. But we've got these beautiful fields, and to be able to see um, equipment working in the fields now, whether or not that equipment is going to be based on the um, the state of the field. So, in other words, hopefully we won't see a combine harvesting when it's still spring, and you know that those crops should not be ready for harvest yet. But even then, I mean, I can turn a blind eye to some things um, to be able to see that, and I really wish that Giants would be able to do that within FarmSim, the next version of the FarmSim, whatever that is. I think it's time that we have some of those finer touches in the game to be able to see things like that, because it's not just it's not just us. We don't always own everything that there is on the map. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me haul another load of soybeans out to the sell point, but I will just stop here and start wrapping things up and say thank you all so much for watching the videos. I hope you all enjoy them. Hope you enjoy the series. And I hope that you will continue to join me here on Thornton Farm to follow the adventures of Smithy, Abner, and myself, and Mr. Thornton, of course, as we continue to make this little farm work for us. And I will be back again for another video. Let's see, you're going to be watching this video on Monday. Of course, this is Easter week, and so I will have another video for you, episode number 9, most likely on Wednesday, and then possibly number 10 on Friday. That would be Good Friday, um, and and just still having fun doing this and enjoying playing this map and everything. But we'll have some more things to talk about. And let me just see, are there any shout outs I need to do? Uh, yes, let's see. Christopher Hovis left comments, Little Miss Brooks, and Old Cranky. Old Cranky came over to us from Fury Machine Gaming's channel, from Jim's channel. Jim did a very nice announcement, and I think I remember saying this in episode number 7, so perhaps I didn't reset my notes for my shout outs. But in any event, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for leaving comments. It's helping me to find things to talk about, answer your questions, and stay active in the chat as well. But much appreciated. Take good care of yourself and also of those around you. And I will be back here for another adventure on Thornton Farm, the return to Thornton Farm, for episode number 9 in just a few days. Bye for now.